Oh my God, I could not run my business. My business would not be what it is without Donna as my partner.
Welcome to the Landscape Cafe and part 3 in this series. Brought to you with support from Fort Myers Garden Service, maintaining and protecting business and residential landscapes. Visit fortmyersgardenservice.com or call 239-990-7494.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think it's great that you're a resource, for that. I mean, one of the things that I was always impressed, from working with you from the beginning, is that you've been at this how many years now?
5 now. Yeah, this is
5 years. I remember in the beginning, you were definitely green, you knew you wanted to do this, but you had no idea how you were going to get there. But you threw yourself into these plant shows and you kept educating yourself, and what a difference it's made, in just the short 5 years, is you're now a go-to expert for, what, where, and how to plant in Florida to have a thriving garden. And that's huge. That's huge. I mean, it's, it takes many people 5, 10, 15 years before they're real pros in their particular industry. So I just think it was smart on your part to really just go gangbusters in that direction, because now that's under your belt. So now you have that knowledge base, and you're able to, tell somebody really quickly what's going to work and what's not going to work in their garden.
Right.
And I think that's valuable.
I appreciate that, man, very much so. And something that I've talked to a lot of clients, and I almost feel shy when somebody asks me, how long have you been doing this? I feel like I've been doing it for 20 years, but I've only done it for 5 years.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between doing something head in and everywhere you look, thinking about landscaping, doing landscaping, and breathing, living, sleeping it. That's how it has been for these past 5 years. And it's not I've been doing landscaping for 15, 20 years. I do it Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And,
right.
But man, dude, I can't stop thinking about it. I love it. Obviously there's a certain point in time where, you need to put it away and think about my other priorities.
How great to be able to do that. I mean, listen, that's the difference between highly successful, inspirational people and those who are literally just doing a job. And this has never been just doing a job for you, because even above the landscaping part of it, you just love working with people, and you love people being happy and stuff like that. So it's there's such a different way that you come to the whole process, which, I will say is 100% at the source of the success that you've had so far. And you're so new in your career, man. I mean, 5 years from now, I don't even know where you're going to be, but it's going to be so far from here, and so great, because you just have a passion for it. And now you're hooking yourself up with other people in the industry who have a passion as well, which then you guys become an unstoppable force. For sure.
And then I for me in my heart, it's I'm so passionate, I'm called to serve people and love people. And you're right. I do that. I love people and I'm passionate about them. And I'm passionate about plants and landscaping too. And it's when those two together, and it's it sets a pretty good start for business. And we've been extremely, extremely successful. But going back to the whole competition thing, I am very much the same way. As what are the other guys doing? How can we check that out and then times two it? How can we make it even crazier without stomping on or criticizing the competition as well? How can we even promote each other? I'm not going to necessarily sing praise to my potential customer about the competition. But if they ask and say, yeah, they're a good company too, but I love to elevate the industry as a whole, talk to other, if you will, competitors, more so parallel business owners is what I like to refer to them almost as, because there's many people, there's quite a few companies in the industry that have taught me and helped me and mentored me. That's one of the biggest things that I've acquired so much education and knowledge and growth over the past few years is from those sources directly. And so when I can turn around and help somebody who's maybe just one step or two steps behind where I am, I'm like, I'm gangbusters to help, man. You want to know how much you think you should charge for a bag of mulch, how to deal with an employee who's gone rogue, or
Sure.
all those crazy things that come up above, or maybe what's a fair design price?
Yeah.
What should I do when this customer screwed me over? There's a couple people that reach out to me for advice that are just a step or two behind me, and or even sometimes they're ahead of me too. It's all vice versa. But I'm not so worried about the dollars or the money behind it, because as long as we're good to each other, good to our clients, there's so much work out there.
I was going to say, there's no limit to the amount of work that's out there. It's the same for me in my industry, man. I've made friends with a number of people in the video world down here and everything else. And I am very much the same way. I'm more than willing to help elevate other people. I can't work with everybody. I don't want to work with everybody. But if I can help you, get a client that you really want to work with, why wouldn't I do that? You know what I mean? It's just, that's just part of what it is to be a great human being. And, you live by it too. Generosity always comes back.
Yeah.
Gratefulness and generosity always come back tenfold. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells me. I've never been like, all about the competition and making the dollar, that doesn't interest me. It's like, who can I help today? Can I make somebody's life better today? Fantastic. How great is that?
Absolutely. I have a funny story. I actually had somebody reach out to me and they're saying, hey, I got this big, great design for a client. It's a nice $90,000 job. It's going good. Asked me for a few pieces of advice on it. And then he was working along the deal. It wasn't closed, but he was working along it, thought it was going pretty good. And, they had to hang up on a couple things. And that customer actually reached out to me independently, not knowing that I knew this other company that he was working with. And, it's a $90,000 job. And I'm like, oh, you're working with who? And you're working with this the same company. I connected the two dots, and I was like, honestly, they were asking me about his pricing and stuff like that. I said, those are very fair prices. They're actually a little bit more affordable than mine. These few hangups that you're hung up on, those are no big deal. Go back and talk to him about them. And I was able to send that customer back to him, and he was able to close that $90,000 deal. And at that point in his company, that was a really big deal for him. And we sent it back to him, and he did all the work, he earned it. But that person approached me and asked me to possibly do the job, possibly start interviewing with a little bit deeper with me. But at the end of the day, man, I know what it's like to come along that really big deal that helps you get enough cash flow on your back end so you can reinvest into the business. And man, those are so important. And it's so much deeper than walking away with a bunch of cash. You know what I mean?
100%. I totally get it. And you know what? And you handled that whole thing with a lot of integrity, which one helps him. It also helps that client. At the end of the day, I don't know. I don't feel good. I would never feel good about that. I couldn't do it.
No. I was like, oh man. I told my wife the situation when I connected the dots. I was like, Katie, this just happened. Like, I can't even believe this just happened. Like, what? What are the chances? And we're like, and both agreed, like, yeah, absolutely, send it back to him. That's what we need to do. Man, what a cool way that my spouse is in our business. She is very, very talented. Not only is she, our senior designer, she's better at designing than me, which I love. She's great. But as far as like decisions, whether ethical or business, next development, next stages, next round of marketing things, next round of trucks, trailers, wraps, anything, to have that wise wisdom of a spouse in your business is incredible. And I'm sure you've seen that a lot with your business.
Oh my God, I could not run my business. My business would not be what it is without Donna as my partner, in every aspect of it, whether it's, business decisions, whether it's just, you're having that kind of a day and you don't even want to be in your business anymore, and that person's able to there to encourage you, and it's great because it's there are times too when you both can be down, but if you have a great enough relationship, you both can figure out a way to get your both back out of it too,
Right.
and it's so important to have that. I think it's and it's not, listen, going into business with your spouse isn't for everybody. I tell people that up front, they're like, how do you make it work? I'm like, you know what? It's work. We work on our relationship. We work on our communication. We work on our level of respect, and sometimes do we aggravate the hell out of each other? Absolutely, 100%. But at the end of the day, we also have that mutual respect. And yeah, I mean, she's definitely, for me, she's the level-headed one. She's the one who constantly helps me with pricing because, like, I'm like, the good saint. I'd give everything away for free, and then we have,
Right.
but she's also helped. She's helped me with my self-confidence. I've helped her with her self-confidence, and we're just, like you guys, we're stronger as a team.
Right. Absolutely.
I will say that we typically, when the two of us are out with any kind of client, anybody we talk to, we literally close on 95% of whoever we sit down with, and that's only because of how we've been able to work with each other, where we're like one seamless conversation with a client. We're not two people on two different sides of something. We bounce off each other very well. We can bounce ideas off each other very well, and people pick up on that. They want to work with people like that. That's why, I think that's why, it's just so important to have that kind of a partner, whether it's a spouse or not. But you got to have that kind of connection with your partner so that you're better with each other.
Right. Absolutely. So freaking powerful, man.
Yeah.
I wanna bring us to talk about some pruning.
Sure.
How do you prune your garden? How have you done it previously, and how do you do it now?
Well, previously I did it on my own, and let me tell you, it was really cool when everything was small, because it was really controllable. But there is a point at which things start to take off on their own, and it becomes the beast.
Yeah.
So, and I found myself like kind of overwhelmed by the whole process because I have lots of different tiers in my garden, different sizes, different levels and stuff that I've put together over time. But especially during rainy season when everything grows out of control, it got to be pretty unwielding. Like I can handle the weeding part of it. Like I like that. I like being down on the ground and doing the weeding part. And I don't use any chemicals or anything like that. I am old school, traditional, pull those weeds
I love it.
they go, type of thing. Though I've done some good ground prep, and the material underneath and the mulch seems to work a lot. But then I started working with the Fort Myers Garden Service for professional pruning. And why I was excited about it is because Eric, who is the guy who comes and does my work, one, had a lot of experience working at Edison Estates before. And I know the level of quality that they insist upon at their location. So I knew that he had a really good background, with plants. And, pruning can be scary for someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, because when a professional comes in, they're going to prune stuff and it gets pruned back pretty far. And I'm always like, but, and I'll just say it's interesting because how I learned my first lesson, believe it or not, was when I asked you to help me with my trees originally on my property.
Yeah.
So you came out and you pruned the trees, and Bodan, I said, holy crap, what happened? The trees are gone. But you were really clear. You're like, listen, I know you're going to hate this right now. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it for several months. But I promise you in 6 months, these things are going to look unbelievable. And sure enough, 6 months later, they looked amazing. They were lower than they were before. They were fuller. They had come back. So I knew going into it that I was going to have to trust that. But it's been really great because it's not like I just have, it's not like hiring a landscaper who just comes with their pruning machine and just hacks the crap out of stuff and whatever. Eric, like, I can go out and talk to him. He takes the time to tell me about the plants and make suggestions, and we kind of go back and forth. So I feel like I'm part of the process with it as well. Like I feel like I have a hand in it, even though I'm not doing the physical work. Like I feel like this person cares deeply about my garden and the joy I get from my garden, and that has made the service completely invaluable to me. I mean, I look forward to him coming. I look forward to talking more about plants, and I love that I can pick his brain too and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or I'm thinking about doing this here. What would you recommend? And that's unbelievable. I mean, that's worth every penny. And it's helped me to keep my yard maintained and at a level that I love, that I don't feel like, oh man, I got to go out there and do all that this weekend. Nah, because let's face it, I mean, I'm not old. I'm not going to say I'm old, but I am 54. I'm not who I was at 34. Okay. And if I go up on ladders or or if I lose my balance, I can hurt. I have hurt myself in my garden before, and I've hurt myself otherwise. So I don't have the capacity to do it, but it has to get done.
Right.
And I didn't want to hire a company that was just going to come and, do what I said to do or whatever. I wanted a company that was going to come and learn my garden, understand my garden, what I'm trying to accomplish, and help me keep it the way I want to keep it. And hands down, that has been Fort Myers Garden Service. They have been unbelievable in doing that. I deeply appreciate it because I feel like I'm getting to know my garden better as well, and the plants in my garden, by understanding how they grow, how they should be kept, when they should be fertilized, all that stuff that, frankly, it's a lot to keep up on.
The Landscape Cafe is a production of Pure Landscaping and the Niche Podcast Network. Learn more about Bailey, Katie, and the team by visiting purelandscaping.com. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, the best place to rate or follow the show is at thelandscapecafe.com. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. There is more to come.